Hello, it's Katy, and you're watching Couch Talks. Today, on the couch next to me, my guest will be a woman, an entrepreneur, a mother, a wife, a person who can create time. She is a stylist, and she has a company in Luxembourg called Stylized U. Later on, she studied also fashion styling in the US. She is a person who finds time. The fashion styling studies were done in the time that she had spare in her life when she was living in the US. She is an amazing, bubbly, and definitely a person to go to when you want to rearrange your wardrobe. My today's guest is Neha and her company Stylized U.
Yep.
For me, you are the person who's an amazing example of a woman who can do everything.
That's a big thing to say.
But I think it is true because you've studied fashion in India, in US as well.
Yes.
You've been working with this, you've been also a lecturer.
Yeah.
And right now you're running your own company, supporting women to not only have their wardrobe done and correctly fitting to their postures, but you also give them confidence and you also support their
I think to
self-esteem.
make them feel better.
Yeah.
Overall, it's about how you feel about
How you
yourself.
feel about that? Okay.
Yeah.
So, would you say that simply clothes is one of the things that you would that can crush your personality, but can also build you up?
Yes. I think it's like a support system. So you need your education, you need the contacts, you need to meet the right people. But having all that, at the end, you also need to be in the moment and ready for it when the opportunity comes.
Yeah, fully.
So I think that's what clothes can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like when you're waking up in the morning and you're just preparing yourself for a
Yeah.
meeting or just going out,
Yeah.
do you tend to think about what you're wearing exactly because of the
Yes.
occasion?
Yes, so we all think differently. There are some people who dress for the occasion, and they decide a kind of style that they would like to wear.
Yeah.
And then there are another set of people who dress by color. So I'm one of those. So if it's good weather, and so I would not wear like a dull color. And if it's nice and bright and shiny, so I dress by color. So whether I'm wearing a shirt or I'm wearing a dress or a t-shirt, it doesn't really matter as long as I'm wearing the right color. But at the same time, there are people who get up in the morning and decide that, okay, today I feel like wearing trousers and I feel like wearing dresses or I feel like wearing a skirt. So it's a different mindset. So when we do like the wardrobe analysis, so that's what we keep in mind, that how are you dressing? And that should reflect in your wardrobe, because then it'll be very easy for you to search and look through the garments if they are arranged in a way you think.
Okay, so it's not only about the colors and the shapes of the things, but simply what you're in the mood for.
Yes, yes.
Okay. If you would list what your company and in you, what you do, except of like kind of remaking the wardrobe, what more you can offer to your clients?
So firstly, I do the style analysis, because if I were to do your let's say StylU, so I do not know too much about you in terms of where you grew up and what your background is and your entire educational background.
So that goes that deep?
Yeah, it goes that deep, because let's say there are two people from two different parts of the world, and so if I get both of them to be styled and they look similar in terms of hair, skin and eye color, but I need to know what their cultural and religious backgrounds are in order to suggest a certain kind of a dress for them. So for me, in order to be able to suggest the right things, the right garments, the right clothes, the right styles, and even small little details in a style, like if I'm, for example, what I'm wearing right now, it has a cut here. Not everybody who is not willing to show their skin a little bit will be willing to wear this, though it's full sleeves and it's black and completely covers you. So
it's still a bit of
the skin. So so it's very, very important for me to know where you're coming from. So that's why the first session is like a style analysis and your personality analysis and your color analysis, in order to see what your colors are.
I'm like, oh my god, it's so many things, and it's just about the clothes that you wear.
And then finally your body type, because
Yeah.
all of this has to finally fit into the body that you are.
Mhm.
So what you think, where you're coming from, the colors you like, the colors that look good on you, and then finally put it into this body. So yeah, so it's all of that in the first session. Then
Mhm.
that is followed by a wardrobe analysis session.
Okay.
So that's where I come into people's home. It's a very personal situation.
So they open very
special
much.
event.
Very
Yes,
much they
yes.
have to.
You have to. You have to be ready in
Mhm.
order to let people walk into your home and let someone open your wardrobe and go through everything that you have collected through these years, maybe 30 years, 40 years, whatever of your
I just
life.
imagine how it would be if you come to my home and open my wardrobe.
Yeah.
You'll be probably be terrified because I'm just keeping things from like when I was things that I liked when I was fitting them,
Yeah.
and I'm like dreaming like oh, maybe one day.
Yeah.
So like, what would your advice be to such persons? Like, should
Yeah,
I
so-
keep it to the better days or?
See, you can keep it as long as you have the space for it. I don't
Okay.
have issues with people holding on things if they really feel for it or if they're working towards fitting into a certain pair of jeans that they wore someday. As long as it fits your lifestyle right now.
Mhm.
You know, if you are the kind of person who goes clubbing 5 times a week, you can have 5 or 6 fancy dresses. But if you don't and you're going once a month, then you know, even if you end up fitting into those clothes, it's not your lifestyle
Yeah.
anymore. So, yeah.
If I may, just coming back to this, to the idea of making time.
Yes.
Out of what I know about you, you've been the person who makes time, who can create time when normally somebody will say, I don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one to find it.
Yeah.
One of those examples is actually, I remember that you mentioned you've been living in US,
Yes.
and that was the moment when you had a time between, getting your husband to work and him coming back. You had a time for yourself.
Yes.
You could have easily sit down, sip martini, and just relax and do nothing.
Yeah.
But you decided to study,
Yeah.
and you decided to study fashion styling. What was
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How you manage to make time in your life?
I think my husband is very supportive.
Mhm.
So he lets me be, and I think I thrive on freedom. So
Okay.
if I have that, then I'm always able to make time for things. But I think I'm very organized. I know, I would say I'm clear about what I want to do
Mhm.
and what I don't want to do. So I don't
Okay.
spend time in in things that are not like taking me somewhere. I'm always
Mhm.
looking for more information. I like to read more. But I need to get something out of whatever I'm doing. So so if I feel that I'm not going to get anything out of this, I don't do those things. And because of that, I think I'm able to have these free time slots wherein
Mhm.
I watch movies during the week. I
Mhm.
make time for it. I go out with friends. I do my work, and I'm studying, and all of that. So
You're living in Luxembourg
Yes.
and building your business in here.
yes.
What are the biggest challenges of this country as it comes to running and building a business?
Okay, so first thing is that it just takes longer to do things because of the language. By the time you figure it out and all of that, it takes longer. Secondly, it's a smaller place.
Mhm.
So, even 1% of, like, if I would say doing something 1% in India would still mean huge number, right?
Okay.
Because the population is so huge. So that itself is a very small number. Then the business that I am is like very niche.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, I do my business primarily in English. So
Okay.
it makes it even more niche. So I wish this was a bigger country, but I'm like, but I'm hoping we are getting there. The
Mhm.
government has big, ambitious plans for having more people coming into the
Mhm.
country. So I'm looking forward to growing my business.
Mhm.
But I think the biggest thing is that it's a really small country, so
Mhm.
the numbers are always going to be small.
Yeah. You are
Yeah.
full of energy, always happy, always smiling. How do you do that? What's your receipt for what's your receipt for happiness, for being flourishing all the time?
I think firstly I need my sleep.
Mhm.
That's really important for me. I need like minimum 7 hours, which I kind of get during the weekdays, and maybe 8 or so if I can get on the weekend. So for me, sleeping well is really important.
Mhm.
So, and I try and make you know, the environment of the house at that time, and my bed is made, and you know, basic very simple things which kind of just and my room is absolutely clutter free, so I don't have anything. It's just a simple bed with you know, basics in it. So I try and keep it clean so that I'm in the mood when I'm sleeping. So I think that's the first thing. And then I have a very ambitious and a very supporting mother as well, and I've seen how she's you know, done things in her life, and without complaining, being consistent, hardworking all throughout her life. And she's a doctor, so she's really worked hard, and she's a gynecologist, so they have like odd hours, and you know, they get calls from the hospital at 2 o'clock, and it's never, yeah, exactly, you never know. And in spite of all of that, I've always seen her like smiling and hardworking and consistent. So I always look at it and I feel like if she could do it in all those circumstances, my life is like so much easier than what she's gone through. So I think I look up to her, and that gives me, and talking to her as well once in a while, so yeah.
That's great. It's just, it's also you're amazing role model for your children in the end, because you have kids. So it's, I think this kind of energy you're passing on, and when they grow up with this kind of energy, even you know, Luxembourgish grey sky and rain will never be a sad situation for them.
Another thing I think, if I can mention here, is I like to surround myself with positive people, and I draw energy from people as well. So if I like, you know, when the conversation is more positive and there's not like just cribbing, but of course you do say that the weather is bad, but you know, you don't finish there. So okay, it's bad, so what do you do now? You know, it's like that. And another thing is that if something happens wrong, I'm always looking for alternatives. Like if I have time and my plan doesn't work out, even if I don't have a plan B, I make one. I mean, I'm quick, I don't know why, but I think I'm quick at making plan Bs.
I have the last question, which is actually connected with, or maybe two questions I would say, which is connected to a topic that is very dear to my heart. It's personal branding.
Okay.
I very often from other trainers, coaches, I hear that clothes are not a part of personal brand.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
What do you think about that statement?
Okay, so firstly, I would obviously disagree. I mean, there's no way I can agree to that. But I would also say that people take clothes differently. You know, some people dress to make an impression or have an impact, and to make a statement sometimes. You know, it depends what you're dressing for. And then some people also think it's a very frivolous activity of the day because they have more important tasks to do. So that's another way of looking at it. So as long as you know your why, like why are you dressing up? As long as your why is clear, as long as you know who you are and why you want, even if you decide to wear one particular thing every single day. Like, you know, you take the example of Mark Zuckerberg. He wears the grey t-shirt every day. Steve Jobs, for example, he wears the same black shirt every single day with blue jeans. But they came up with that one dress code for themselves, right? There must have been some research on that, and there has been, because both these people have got this dress code for themselves designed by fashion designers. Okay, there is a special material that is being used. There has been research on that. Each t-shirt of Mark Zuckerberg,
even the special material, like the fabric is it's
special. And also, Mark Zuckerberg, if I'm not wrong, the t-shirt that he wears, it's about $300 to $400. And it is not it's been designed by a fashion designer. Same for Steve Jobs. And these two dresses are not available for sale to anybody else in the world with the exact same composition. So I understand that he's wearing the same grey t-shirt, and he said, I think he was asked in an interview as to why do you wear the same color, because he said, I am serving 1 billion people. And for me, every decision that I make is important. So I don't want to make too many decisions in my life. I don't want to decide what I want to eat for breakfast and what clothes to wear, because I have more important things to do.
Exactly.
So I would come back that as long as you know your why, as to why you're dressing up or why you're deciding not to dress up, it's okay. Because finally it's about being yourself and being comfortable and doing the things which really matter.
What makes you a personal brand? What's your personal brand description?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So there are certain things that I like to take, and you know, since you asked me that, everybody focuses on different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so some people are more about makeup. They don't
Yeah.
really care about clothes. Some people are more about hair. If their hair is done well, they feel okay.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is to feel okay. And now
Yes.
what is it that is defining your okay is what you need to figure out, and which we do figure out in the session. Sometimes it's a good pair of shoe which makes the deal, and sometimes people are particular about the bags they carry. So if I were to pick up something, then from my ensemble, it's always the footwear. I like to wear comfortable footwear, of course, and then they should match with the outfit or be a good contrast, something like that. But I would suggest that when we are picking up a whole ensemble and deciding what we should wear, we should decide what the focal point is. So it could be your lipstick, it could be your earrings, it could be a necklace that you're wearing, but there should be one focal point. And then it's easier for people to, you know, interact with you, and they don't get lost in all the various elements that you have or too many colors that you have going on. For example, if today I was wearing something,
like wearing totally
it's
black.
all simple, because right now I want you to listen to me and look at me, and I don't want you to get distracted. So all the attention that I have, like the earrings that I'm wearing, are all here on my face, because I would like you to listen to me and have your attention here and not get drawn to another part of my body. So, and at the same time, I suggest that to people as well when you're presenting in a boardroom or you have a meeting. So bring the focus in such a way that you forget what you're wearing. That's what the clothes should do.
So simply, instead of pushing yourself into the thick, tight dress, just feel comfortable and be comfortable with what you're doing.
And forget what you have worn, and just do what you're there for.
Thank you very much. It's been amazing. I knew that it's going to be very energizing and bubbly, the whole conversation with you. Thank you very much for listening, and if you would like to contact Neha, in the end of the video you will find her contact details. Have a good day. Bye. Today's guest is Neha. She is. I have a couple. One more time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Yes. No. I have to check that. I'll be back home and recording.
Okay.
Wait,
so
I'll just position myself in a similar way.
yeah, I was like that.
I think I'll just take water to relax.
You have some. You just got some lipstick on your. Yeah. No, on the right one. Yes. Are you in there? Totally. Just a little bit more.